Before I begin, please remember that fulfillment of prophecy cannot be stated as fact until it has come to pass. I've studied a lot of theories on prophecy, and what I've written here is what could be possible based on historical and modern-day facts. But I will never say all of this is absolute fact until we see it happen. Some of it is absolutely certain, but some is not. The United States, Britain, Russia, and Germany are in the Bible. Believe it? God chose to use symbols to represent many things concerning prophecy in the Bible. He did this to seal up the prophecy until the time that he wished us to know, the time of the end. Daniel 12:9, and he said, "Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end." The symbols are easily understood now that we can recognize them for what they are. Daniel 7 speaks of 4 beasts that rose up out of the sea. Daniel 7:1, in the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of the heavens strove upon the great sea. And 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this I beheld, and lo, another, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it. And it had 10 horns. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. The beasts symbolize kings or nations along with the rulers of the nations as we know them today. When we see a beast in prophecy, it is almost always referring to a nation or the ruler of that nation. Sometimes it will refer to the nation itself, and sometimes it will be referring to the ruler. In order to understand this prophecy, we have to first understand that the beasts are referring to modern nations. Daniel 7:17. These great beasts, which are 4 kings, which shall arise out of the earth. We're told when these nations will exist. Daniel 7:9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. The event in Daniel 7:9 is the return of Jesus Christ. He will return to put down all government and establish the kingdom of God. This means that these kings, nations, will exist at the time of Christ's return. A very popular theory for this passage is that it is a parallel prophecy of Daniel 2, where it lists the 5 kingdoms that will rule the known world from the time of Babylon to the return of Christ. This cannot be true for a couple reasons. First, there are 5 sections of the statue in Daniel 2, and there are only 4 beasts in Daniel 7. The math does not match up. They try to say that the last section, the iron mingled with clay of Daniel 2, is just part of the 4th section, but the 5th section is definitely a separate section with a mixture of 2 components, not a single component like the 4th section, and it's separated in both the vision and the interpretation given, just like the first 4 sections are. Second, if we continue to read Daniel 7:11, I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horns spake. I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed, and given to the burning flame. As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and time. We see that the 4th beast, the little horn, the Antichrist and his one-world government, is destroyed, and the other 3 beasts, the lion, bear, and leopard, have their dominion taken away, but they live on for a while. If this is a parallel prophecy with Daniel 2, then the empires, Babylon, Media-Persia, Greek, Roman, would all still have to be in existence when Christ returns, but they are not and cannot. Daniel 2 is definitely a different prophecy, with kingdoms differing from the kingdoms we see in Daniel 7. The common factor is that they end at the same place with the return of the Lord. Third, in Daniel 2:39, we see that it's after Babylon that another kingdom shall arise, and another third kingdom which shall bear rule over all the earth. These are kingdoms which rule the known world, not separate nations of the world that exist at the same time. So we know for certain that these are consecutive kingdoms and are not the same nations we find in Daniel 7. But like other prophecies discussed in this book, the two have a common intersection at the end, when the stones smote the image and became a great mountain. Verses 44 and 45 give us the same declaration as we found in Daniel 7:9. It is the end of this age when the Lord returns, casts down the nations and the governments of the world, and sets up his kingdom on the earth. Lastly, in Revelation 13, we see that the four beasts of Daniel 7 become one beast, the united government of the Antichrist, the New World Order. All four beasts exist at that time. They are not kingdoms of the past. Why is this important? Because misunderstanding this leads to misunderstanding of the end time and causes us to interpret other prophecies incorrectly. It's very important to understand this so you can grasp the meaning of end-time prophecy and really understand what the Lord told us and what he told us to watch for. So what does this prophecy show us? The first beast is a lion and had eagle's wings coming out of it. What nation today has the official symbol of the lion? Great Britain, or the United Kingdom as we know it today. The UK official symbol is the lion, and there are numerous statues of lions all over the UK because of the adoration of the lion in Great Britain. What current nation came out of the lion? The United States of America came out of Britain. The amazing thing about this prophecy is God predicted the US Declaration of Independence 2,400 years before it happened. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. The bald eagle is the official symbol of the United States. But the US also has another symbol, a man, Uncle Sam. God wanted us to know when the time was right, so he gave us so many clues that we could hardly miss. The wings were plucked from the lion, and a man's heart was given to it. Hello, USA! The second beast is a bear. Ever heard of the Russian bear? The bear is the official animal symbol of Russia, and Russia has and is playing a very prominent role in world affairs. The third beast is a leopard with 4 heads and 4 wings of a fowl. The leopard is the unofficial symbol of Germany and is a dearly loved mystical creature of Germany with symbols in abundance in that country, much like the lion in Britain. And dominion was given to it. Germany has been the dominant nation in Europe for the last 100 years, and Germany was the prominent leader of the Holy Roman Empire, aka the Holy Roman Empire of the German nation, for the last 1,200 years. The multiple heads on this beast likely portray the number of times that nation will rise and fall. Germany's Third Reich fell with the defeat of Hitler in World War II, and they are now in the Fourth Reich. It's interesting that the German Leopard tank has become one of the world's foremost tanks. The 4 wings of a fowl very likely refer to the Franco-German alliance. The official animal symbol of France is a rooster. Another very interesting piece of information about this is that one of the heads was wounded unto death, and his deadly wound was healed. In Revelation, we see the beasts again, but now they are all in one beast, the end-time one-world government. Revelation 13:1, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. When Germany was defeated for the 3rd time in less than 100 years, Franco-German War, WE1 and WW2, she was cut in half with the Berlin Wall to ensure she would not ever again be strong enough to start another world war. It was declared at that time, Germany is dead. She will never rise again. This wound was healed on November 9, 1989, when the wall came down and Germany is once again dominating Europe. Germany and its Fourth Reich was dead, but now it is alive and thriving once again. The European Union is one of the world's #1 economic powers, and Germany is by far the strongest country among the nations of the European Union. The fourth beast is different than the first three, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, and it had 10 horns. The 10 horns are 10 kings. Daniel 7:23. Thus he said, "The fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down, and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise. And another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings." These 10 horns are the same as the 10 toes from Daniel 2 and the 10 kings from Revelation 17. Revelation 17 tells us that these 10 kings will give their power to the Antichrist. We don't know yet which union of nations or states and or leaders this will represent. We do know that a world leader, the little horn from Daniel 7:8 above, will arise from this union and will take power by plucking or subduing 3 kings. And he will speak great things. And he will devour, conquer the whole earth. He will rule until Jesus Christ himself, who is the Ancient of Days, comes back to the earth. This man will be what we call the Antichrist. He will be the leader of the one world government that controls the nations of the earth in the end time. He will be an evil man who deceives the world with promises of peace and security. Notice how Britain and Germany have pretty much succumbed to Islam, and Russia has a large percentage of Muslims, 10 or 15% in 2017, compared to other non-Muslim countries. Once Islam reaches a critical mass in a country, it exponentially grows faster and faster. This shows us how close we are to the world God showed us in these prophecies. It is almost a certainty that Islam is represented by this fourth beast, and that the Antichrist will be a Muslim, as you will see in chapter 7. One distinct possibility concerning the Antichrist's identity is the Jordanian king Abdullah II. There are several reasons for thinking this. One is that Daniel tells us that the Antichrist will come from a small people, Dan 11:23. Jordan is a very small kingdom and could fit this description. 2, Jordan is one of the countries that the Bible tells us explicitly will escape out of his hand, meaning it will not be one of the countries that the Antichrist conquers. This could easily mean that it's where he came from, had no quarrel with his rule, and as such has no need to conquer. 3, he is a descendant of Muhammad and would be accepted by the majority of Muslims as their Mahdi. 4, the little horn of Daniel will obtain the kingdom by flatteries and in the name of peace. Dan 8:25 shows us that the Antichrist, by peace, shall destroy many. The Jordanian king is playing an ever-increasing role in bringing about a peace treaty between Israel and Palestine. This peace is of course a lie to lull the enemies of Islam into complacency until they can conquer them. If he is instrumental in a peace agreement, it will be accepted by the world, which believes that moderate Islam is peaceful. And if he brings peace and an end to the beheadings and violence by ISIS, the world will clamor into his hand. He is definitely a man worth watching. The fourth beast also appears to be the fourth horseman of Revelation's fourth seal. So what have we learned so far? It's extremely likely that the United States, Britain, Russia, and Germany will be on the earth when it is the time of the end. A 10-king union will produce the world leader known as the Antichrist, and he will rule until Jesus returns. We also know how long this man will rule the world, shown in the following passages. Revelation 13:5. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. Daniel 7:25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. In Old Testament verbiage, a time and times and the dividing of time means a year and 2 years and half a year, or 3.5 years, 42 months also equals 3.5 years, so we know that this period of time will be 3.5 years. This period of time will be the second half of the final 7 years, as discussed further in other chapters of this book. These beasts, kings, nations, combined with the 4 horsemen, shown in the next chapter, along with Daniel 2 and Revelation 13 and 17, show us the end-time grand mosaic picture God painted for us.